Hey everyone, welcome into Rocket. We're going to do Rocket 2 today, and my name is Shawna Krueger. I am here with my friend Natasha. Natasha is a student of mine. She has also taken Rocket before as well, but she'll be showing a bit of demo as to what is possible. And I always like to start out my classes by saying that it's really like a buffet. So take what you want to do and what you want to try, and don't be afraid to really leave anything sit that doesn't look like it's for you today. I know that if you practice with Marla, you probably have dipped your toes into a bit of Ashtanga yoga. And so the Rocket is really a reorganization of the classic postures. So you'll notice that we do everything on one leg, we get upside down a little bit, and then we do everything on the second leg. And the official slogan of Rocket is, it gets you there faster. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of sweat. I don't know how much we'll be sweating on camera here, but hopefully you at home as well will get a bit of heat built up in your body as well. And so the final thing that I'll say is that Rocket 2 is a little bit more back bending, and it pulls some postures from second series. And so you can expect a little bit more back bending than per se in a Rocket 1 forward folding class. So let's go ahead and get started. Samastitihi, come up to the top of your mat. We'll take big toes to touch, small space between your ankles. And then in this first moment, you can begin by just rolling your shoulders back and down several times. Close down your eyes and subtly turn your palms to face forward. So samastitihi, sama meaning same and stitihi meaning standing. We look to find, without fighting, a bit of balance, so minimizing that subtle sway along the plumb line. And we'll start to come into Ujjayi breath, so slightly constricting the back of your throat, Jalandhara Bandha, as you breathe through your nose. So I don't know how much you'll be able to hear us breathing, but hopefully you can hear your own breath, at least in the personal sense. It doesn't have to be loud, but noticing right away if you can extend the breath a little bit, slow the breath down. And we'll begin by just taking the first three movements of sun salutation. So if you're super familiar with this, which you're probably not if this is your first time practicing with me, but you can even keep your eyes closed for this part. As you inhale now, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up overhead, reach tall, turn your face upwards, look past your fingers. As you exhale, melt and fold forward, nice deep bend through the knees, relax the low back in this first one. Inhale, half lift, unroll. Exhale, refold. Inhale, lift your arms back up overhead, reach tall. And exhale, hands to your sides, samastitihi. We'll take that again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, just tuning into the sensations. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, refold. Inhale, arms up, face turns upwards at the top. And exhale, hands back to your sides. One more time on your own, tuning into the breath, so continuing moving. And really setting the tone for your practice at this point, letting the breath be the central focal point of your practice. This is the start of the ritual, the awakening. Good. And as you finish that last round, open up your eyes if they were closed. So let's take that into a full sun salutation A. So inhale, arms up, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or float, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Peel and look upwards. Exhale, downward facing and hold. And so you'll notice as we arrive in this first downward facing dog, you might notice the back side of your body is a little tight. You can take a little bend through one knee and then the other. A few spinal waves, and some students even like to drop to all fours and take a classic cat-cow sort of warm up. But this first one is for you to kind of get the wiggles out. And even though Rocket is a bit different than Ashtanga, we still try to maintain in the rest of our downward facing dog a bit of stillness. Good. With the next inhale, bend through your knees, look forward, step or float. Top of the mat, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up. And exhale, return, samasthiti, hands to your sides. Let's take another one, counting this time. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Dwe, exhale, fold forward. Trini, inhale, half lift. Chatwari, exhale, chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, upward facing. And shut, exhale, downward facing, hold. Noticing what happens right away as we start to move with the breath. And I didn't mention this earlier, but I'll be demoing quite a few of the assists, so you may wish to re-watch or keep an eye on that as well if you teach. Just different ways of bringing students a little bit deeper, perhaps, into different postures. Good. Sapta, inhale, step or float, half lift. Ashtau, exhale, fold. Nava, inhale, rise. And exhale, return, samasthiti. Let's find that again, adding on a little bit this time. Inhale, arms up, reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, lean, lots of weight into the hands this time. Step or maybe float feet back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward face. Exhale, double dip back through the push-up if you want extra. Downward facing dog, hold. So this time in downward facing dog, spread the fingers nice and wide on the mat, especially pressing through thumb and index finger. Create a little bit of extra space up through the shoulders for most of us. And then let's play with opening the front side of the body. So inhale, lift your right leg tall, three-legged dog. Bend, open up your hip to the side. And begin by staying reaching here, almost like if you had a neighbor, maybe you're practicing with a friend, or on your own, reaching across, like you're reaching as high as you possibly can, and then release. Back through classic down dog. Inhale, go ahead and pick up the left leg this time. Same deal, bend, open up the hip, stay and pause. We'll hold, lift, and reach for 2. Very nice. And 1. Inhale, return, three-legged dog. Exhale, release, classic down dog. Now take your feet together and knees together. Think about sealing together the thighs and bend and straighten several times through your knees. This will eventually turn into a little bit of a hop. So you may find that you can leave the mat just a little bit, or maybe a lot. We're eventually reaching to catch a little bit of hang time. 1 or 2 more hops. Good. And then let's use one more big hop there. One of those hops to come to the top of the mat. Oh, all the way up, beautiful. Bring it on back down. Inhale, half lift, nice. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to your sides, Samasthiti. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, arms up, reach tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Option to lean, step or float, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Hold and downward facing dog. We'll stay for 5. So if you want to bring in more heat and more fire, a little bit more of the tapas energy here, you can come back to that hopping motion, or you can skip it. So it's up to you, whichever one you want to do. And what you'll find here with the rocket is that eventually, every time we're in the downward facing dog, you may wish to get upside down. So quite like the last time when Natasha was hopping, she catches a little bit of air time. Good. With your next hop, let's take it to the top of the mat, step or float. Good. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to your sides. Good. We're starting to feel warm a little bit, yeah? Let's do a sun salutation B, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, Utkatasana. Press your palms, flare your fingers, look past your thumb. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, step your right foot through warrior 1. This is the quickest part of the practice, 1 breath to rise. Exhale, hands to the mat, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, step your left foot through warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat, chaturanga, flow it out. Inhale, upward facing, you're doing fantastic. Exhale, downward facing, hold. And so each time that we're in the downward facing dog, you can kind of set the temperature as I mentioned. So taking rest, if you want a little rest, if you want to play, get a little bit funky here, you might think about dropping down onto the right forearm. So you've got a little bit of weight leaning into this right forearm. Then walk your toes in, funky pincha, start to lift the left leg, shifting lots of weight forward, eventually maybe catching balance onto that right forearm. So staying here and kind of reaching as high as you can for 2. Good. And 1. Exhale, return, classic down dog, switch it out. Left forearm drops. Really nice. Walk the feet in, reach your right leg this time. Super good work. She's doing fantastic. This is a heavy, heavy lift. You're doing the work right here. Stay for another breath. And exhale, release. Classic down dog. Step or float now, top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale straight into Utkatasana. Bend your knees, hips back, arms up. And exhale, take rest, hands to your sides. 1 set, let's do it again. Inhale, Utkatasana. Bend the knees, hips back, yes. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or float, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Maybe you want to bring back the double dip through push-up or skip it. Downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot through warrior 1. Now as you exhale, hands to the mat out in front of the right foot. Give a little lean, think about leverage. You can hop or just lift, see about taking it up potentially. If that is not accessible, just give a little hop and then step it straight on back, chaturanga. Nice, Natasha. Inhale now, we're gonna step our left leg through. So if you went through downward dog, that's great. Meet us here. Left leg is forward, warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing, and hold. So we're back to our solid hold. And I know the sun salutation B variations get a little confusing, but essentially what happens is if you do catch that hop and that hold, you can stay, switch out your legs, and find your warriors that way. Otherwise, you'll keep doing them nice and classic. We'll hold here for another breath or so. Breathing deeply, deeper the breath, deeper the practice. Now let's make your way forward now. Bend through your knees, step or float, top of the mat. Half lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, hips back, arms up. And this time we'll stand on up, hands to your sides. Inhale, bend again, last time. So this will be the final round, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, pause again. Rock the weight forward. Maybe you even take a Bakasana crow or just float the knees and then chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, step your right foot through, warrior 1. Once again, exhale, hands out in front of the foot, step or float. Either stay in the handstand or chaturanga with me. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, step your left foot through, warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Again, take it up, little hop, or step it straight on back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing, hold. So final extended hold of our downward facing dog. Should be feeling the heat. I'm feeling the heat a little bit and I'm only doing half of the practice. So use these final 5 or so counts as you would like. You may stay right here. You can come back into any of the other variations, working on another inversion of your choice. Stay for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Good. Step or float, top of the mat, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, and you'll stay. So we're going to hold in Utkatasana here. And she's demoing really nicely. We're not quite as deep through the hips, so that way we can reach. Gaze up past your thumbs. Hold for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Ardha Utkatasana. Interlace up your fingers, send your palms forward, And think about bringing the back flat like a tabletop. So even if you don't have someone pulling on your arms, reach your hips back. Good. Stay for 2. And 1, exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat. Now we'll either take Bakasana Crow or a little Malasana squat. So if you want to get weight off of the hands, you can shift the feet wide. Otherwise, hands to the mat. Start to stack the weight forward. Good. And if we're in the Bakasana with ease, we're thinking about Kakasana. So starting to straighten subtly, really nice through the arms. Hold for 2. And 1, Chaturanga, step or float. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing, hold. Top of the rocket, right side. So inhale, step your right foot through. Back foot turns out slightly, arms are up. Gaze up past your thumbs here again. This looks really nice. For most of us, we can think about pushing even more through this back heel. Yes. And then exhale, open up warrior 2. Arms will come out parallel, gaze over the front right fingertips. And there's a subtle action here of Uddiyana Bandha, so drawing your belly in along your spine, which tilts the hips under just a bit. Good. Inhale, straighten out the front right leg, heel toe in your back left foot, reach on down, Trikonasana triangle. So you might be familiar, Ashtanga triangle is a little bit shorter than other traditional vinyasa triangles, so the hips often stick out behind us, but you can think there's a self-adjustment here, kind of subtle leaning back as you draw the hips a little bit forward and the chest a little bit back. Hold for a breath. Good. We'll take a detour now. So half moon, look down, find your balance, bend up nice and deep through that standing right leg, and shift all of your weight. So this is enough, this is plenty. Some students like to reach around back behind them. Good. Reaching for sugar cane. See if you can do that with the mic there. And pulling, opening, you can lean yourself kind of into that standing leg. Good. Exhale, release. We'll return back through the Trikonasana shape. And usually slide now the back foot in a little bit closer and a little bit wider for Parivrita Trikonasana. Left hand is down on the inside or maybe the outside of the right foot. And here again, lots of weight being pushed back into the back foot. So sometimes we can think about driving the hips backwards. Stay for 2. And 1, exhale, look down, find your balance. Let's step all the way up onto the right leg, standing split style. So you can take both hands to the mat and just reach as possibly high here as you can with the back left foot. So eventually, again here, there's no shortage of opportunities. A little bit of weight into the hands. Maybe you want to bring in some handstand hops in this posture to kind of get off of that right leg. No pressure, right? And it's playful. Not every kick has to be perfect. Land back on the mat with your right foot, step long back behind you. Extended side angle. We'll take it classic today or modified with the forearm on top of your right thigh, or you can slide your right hand outside of your right foot. Good, and looking past the fingers as she's doing here. Thinking again, hollowing through the belly. Super Uddiyana Bandha. Hold for 2. And 1. Inhale, rise up. Think warrior 1. So you're going to come up now onto the back left toes, crescent lunge style. And then right away start to cross your body. So you can take this as deeply as you would like, twisting towards your right side, maybe reaching around, catching your hands, or you can stay in the prayer twist. Either way, try to take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Little sips of air. Hold for 2. And 1, exhale, release, rest is coming. Hands to the mat inside of your right foot, lizard lunge. So super nice and deep here. You can even drop the back knee if you want to. Take a little rest, yes. And then bit by bit, we're gonna start to work ourselves down. And you can scoot the front right toes forward and turn the right toes out towards the corner of the mat. And working here to eventually get the shoulder maybe underneath that right knee. You can reach back for your left foot, either underneath how you are there. You can bend up the foot, yeah. Maybe catch. It's a super tight little bind here, yeah, really awesome. Or you can reach up over the top if you don't have this tight bind. Stay for 2. How are you doing, Natasha? Surviving, she's surviving. Are you surviving at home? You're good. Release, okay? Take your hands to the mat, Ekapada Kundinyasana on the exit. This is an optional transition, lots of weight forward into the elbows until she's gonna get this elbow on the left side underneath her. Excellent, chaturanga, step or float. Inhale, upward facing, exhale, downward facing, and hold. Go ahead and drop to your knees there, Natasha. So that was your side 1. We're done with the right leg entirely. We've got the left to go. We bring it upside down and rock it between the sides. So what that can mean for you is maybe it's a child's pose or a puppy pose at this point. Or if you want to keep it classic, it's pincha. So forearms to the mat, up on your toes, start to walk your feet forward, maybe reach one leg, maybe both. Eventually we find that moment of float. You can use a wall. Feel free to pause me if you want a little extra time, right? But using this moment to get upside down, go about 10 or so rounds of breath. Good. Really nice. This is sort of the flushing out. And you notice the practice makes you sweat. This point of getting upside down, if you're not already there, gets you there quite quickly. Halfway, really nice. Last 3, 2, and 1. Come on down. Awesome. So take a moment if you need to. When you're ready, we'll meet back up in downward facing dog. Fire it on back up. Now we've got just our left side left to do here. So inhale, step your left leg through. Warrior 1. Back foot turns out. Palms are pressing. Fingers are flared. Gaze is up. Nice. Push a little more through the back right heel for all of us. And then exhale, open up Warrior 2. Sink on into it. Super Uddiyana Bandha, drawing navel in, subtle tucking under the hips. Inhale now, Trikonasana, slide the back right foot in, closer, reach on down, catch for the left big toe or wherever makes sense. Nice short little triangle. Good, and listening to our bodies, right? Don't have to push to the extremes. You can still find a little bit of leaning back no matter where you're at. Gaze up past the right fingertips if it's comfortable. And then we'll find our detour through half moon. Looking down, find your balance, stack all the weight up onto that left leg. Good. And stay here, or sugar cane pose. I'm gonna let you catch it this time and see if I can sneak in. Yeah. Good, so she's got her foot and this looks awesome. You give a little bit of a kick into that, deepen that. And turn your gaze upward if it's not already there. That's a little bit more of the balance challenge. Good. Go ahead and release your foot. Come on back down to the Trikonasana shape. And then we'll start to revolve our triangle. So take your right hand down, left arm lifting. Maybe a little shorter in the stance as she goes, maybe even a little wider. And then here again, think about driving your hips back into the mat. So you're pushing back. Is that okay? Okay. Stay for 2. And 1. Exhale, look down, both hands to the mat, standing split all the way up onto your left leg. Give a nice tall reach. Once you feel like you're at that maximum point of how much you can lift, feel free to bring in the action of getting upside down, the little hops. And I didn't mention as much the first side, but it's kind of like a donkey kick, right? So you don't have to get all the way up there. It can be just nice, buoyant little hop through your leg. Repetition here is the master. Go ahead and step back behind you now, extended side angle. We're on our left leg forward still. Perfect, just as you are. Good, and she's got the hand outside, left hand outside of the left foot. You can also take forearm to the thigh and reach long up overhead through the right side body. I see a lot of times students going sort of upwards, so you want to really look for this long line through the full side body. Inhale, rise up, warrior 1. Pop up onto your back toes, crescent lunge style. Start to cross your body towards the left. So right elbow outside of that left knee. Reach around, see if you might catch here. And if you do catch with ease, the right fingertips are catching onto the left wrist. See about turning the gaze potentially up towards the ceiling. Hold for 2. This is kind of like the chiropractor one, even if you're on your own. Though I don't know if my chiropractor will approve, to be honest. It's pretty intense. Good. Go ahead and release. Take your hands down inside your left leg, lizard lunge. So take that little bit of rest with your back knee. Walk the left toes a little bit forward and out. Yes. And so now you see shoulder is maybe able to kind of sneak in that direction where she's reaching underneath. And you have that option to go for the bind. Good. Let me know if this is too much. You're real close. Yeah. Nice. Perfect. So again, if this isn't working under, you just take the hand up over the top and catch here. It's a nice classic kind of heart opening version of this. Stay for another breath. And exhale, release. Come back to lizard lunge, Ekapada Kundinasana. Work to stack the elbows underneath your body. Gentle face plants, always welcome. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Drop on back down to your knees. Second side, we've got our inversion, so you're welcome to do again the pincha variation. Maybe you want to play with a little handstand or take your rest. Just give a quick little mini handstand tutorial in this moment of our yoga recess here that we have in our rocket sequence. If you are working on hopping, try to think about keeping your trail leg or your jumping leg, in my case that's my left leg here, nice and long, so it's not going to come up overhead, it's going to stay low. So I'm only reaching with one leg. You see, you got a little bit more control because often the jumping leg gets really eager and it looks like this, and then neither leg gets up. So keeping the trail leg long is a nice way to practice hops in the middle of the room. Nice, and Natasha's been working really hard on these couple months. You see what happens, it's incredible. Yeah, another breath or so. Good. Come on down whenever you're ready. Take a moment. Actually, I like to give a sweet little rest moment in child's pose on our second side. We deserve it. Sometimes palms up, drop your head down, and just relax. Arms are relaxing fully. Stay here for about another 3 or so rounds of breath. And come on back up, fire it up, downward facing dog when you're ready. From your downward facing dog, walk your hands now in a little bit so you're in a nice short down dog sort of shape. And then from here, if you've never seen this before, you might take a peek. You bend deeply through your arms, and we're going to do our best to push ourselves back to Padangusthasana. So a little 1-2 pop all the way back. It might take several of those pops. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Let your elbows come out towards the sides. So a little bit of weight rocking forward into the toes. We'll stay here for 2. Noticing how the low back is feeling, right? So we don't have to go in super deep to these. Knees can always stay bent. Inhale, pull, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, Padahastasana. Stand on your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Tuck your chin, rock the weight forward. This one as well, we can get a little curious about actually putting weight into the toes, and you'll see that there's a little bit of lift through each heel. Good. Go ahead and release. Inhale, pull, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, hands to your hips. Now inhale, stand all the way on up. Take your hands up overhead. So this is the classic walk to the top, up on your tippy toes now. Look up past your fingertips, and then step with high knees all the way to the top of the mat. So each one is like a balancing act. It's catwalk style. Nice and slow. You'll know that you arrived when you step off the end of your mat and stay lifted there at the top. Good. Reach a little bit higher, almost like you're up on just your toenails. That's how high you are. And then exhale, release. Hands down to your side. Classically, step back and open with the right. In this case, I'm going to have you step back with the left just for demo purposes. So you're turning towards the long edge of your mat. Prasarita Padottanasana. So inhale, arms sweep wide, reach up. Exhale, swan dive forward, hands down to the floor. Inhale, press, lengthen. Exhale, fold and hold. So there's always an option here if you like tripod headstand. You can put your head to the mat, or you can hang out here and enjoy. We'll be here for about 5 rounds of breath. Stay for 4, good. 4, 2, and 1. Come on back down if you inverted. Inhale, press, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, hands back to your hips. Inhale, rise up, sweep wide at the top, power stance, chest opens. And exhale, hands behind your back. So she's gonna reach for opposite elbows, or you can bring your palms to touch, kind of reverse namaste style. So inhale here, lift your chest. Exhale, fold forward. And stay. So this one is a little bit, sometimes we don't go as deep. We've got the shoulders opening, the little hand bind. Another breath. And we're going to take the shortcut, so stay folded over as you are. Just release your hands now, interlace up your fingers. So we're going to go Prasarita C. Yes, exactly. Good. So bit by bit, inch by inch, sliding the hands a little bit closer towards the mat and the head as well. We'll stay for 2. Doing okay? Good. And 1. Inhale, come on back up to stand. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale, sweep wide, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Reach down, catch your big toes with the peace fingers. Inhale, pull, lengthen. Exhale, fold and hold. So here again, we can have elbows out towards the sides. If you're having trouble reaching the toes, the knees can stay super bent. Hold for 2. And just for a fun assist 1, you can always take a counterbalance here, where I'm gonna have her grab onto my hands. And you can do this with a strap, or you can do this with your back to the wall as she starts to lean the weight into her toes. This is a good one to kind of hang out in. Is that okay on the hamstrings? Yeah. Stay for 2. And 1. Good. Hands back to the mat. Inhale, pull, lengthen, look forward. Take your hands right as she has them there out in front of your big toes. It's about a foot or so in front, and we're right in the middle. And what we're gonna do is pre-straddle press a handstand. So lots of weight come forward into the toes. Maybe the hips lift and we take it all the way up. If that's not quite there, you just lean forward and back several times. Good. Forward and back. Give a little lift up here. Nice. If you get this, come on back down. Wide straddle. Last little round there. Good. And now next time you return through center, inhale, press, lengthen, look forward, and start to slide your feet wide apart, Samakonasana. And if you know right away this doesn't feel good on the knees, you can take our frog pose instead. So one of those 2 areas, I want to go to about 80 or so %, right on the edge, but also something that you'll be okay with coming back to. Somewhat enjoyable. It's the key. We'll stay for another 3 or so rounds of breath. This is kind of the deep stretching portion of our class. With the next inhale, start to slide your knees on back together. If you drop to the knees or the feet back together, and we'll turn towards our right foot. So turning towards, probably be the back of your mat for you. And we'll drop our left knee and start with a half split here. Hanumanasana. So you can take this down as deep as you want to go. And we don't necessarily need props, but props can help you be more comfortable. So you can always grab something here to support, or you slide down eventually to your edge. and making sure that you don't have too much, intensity, especially no sharp pain by the right sits bone. If you do, back on out of it and stay. So there's a little bit of silence here as you breathe, stretching deeply, trying to resist a little bit less, letting gravity do its thing. The last round of breath, maybe you crave a little bit more depth. And then inhale, slide on out of it. Turn through center. It doesn't have to be fancy or pretty. And just spin around towards the left leg. Again, starting with the right knee. And bit by bit, you're sliding the left leg out in front of you. So half or full split here. This is one that is like our vitamins for getting upside down, because the more that we have the hamstrings opening when we're in a standing split, the closer the reaching leg is towards our point of that tipping point, essentially. We don't have to kick quite as hard. Relax down into it here, another few rounds of breath. Good, and start to make your way on up out of it. Back through center, so we're coming back through that wide-legged forward fold. And then from here, we're gonna sit down into a wide fold. So you can do that a couple of ways. You might press it up and come back down, or kind of a little baby press as the fingertips turn back behind you. Slide your way down, kind of like a little ramp there, or just sit down and send the legs out wide. This first one is another nice active stretch forward. So inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, take your belly forward. So you're thinking about, even with sort of a flat back, coming forward. Once you hit that edge and that wall, then round down and let yourself hang, resting. We'll stay here for 5. Come back to your breath if you've lost track of it for 4. For 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, reach over towards your right foot. So we're gonna reach in the direction of our right foot. And if you can catch the foot with ease, you might rainbow arch, actually, the left hand up and overhead. And you can slide the right hand down there, kind of crossing your body. If you wanna release the right arm, yeah, exactly. And so she can stay here, leaning back, and if this doesn't make contact to your toe, hand behind the back of your head is good. Some students like to roll all the way over onto your back here, kind of a flipped turtle style. Yeah, a little bit of a trust fall. This is one of my favorite postures of the whole class, to be honest. It's a detour, but commonly included. And then to come back up, we usually give a little bit of leverage. So if you can lift and give a little swing kick. Yeah, nice. Good. Inhale through center. Exhale over towards the left foot. Same deal, option to rainbow arch. Everything from here is optional, so you can come as far into this as you want to. Maybe you start to lean back, rolling back. Yeah, and you'll notice that kind of the closer you keep the right foot in towards you, like she has it, the stretch usually intensifies a little bit. Nice. Good, inhale back up through center. Exhale, release. We've got one more. Interlace up your fingers behind your back. Inhale, pull open your chest, and you might be kind of stuck here. That's all right. If you can, take it forward. So whether you're down to a hover or you're up much higher, hold for 2. And 1. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Move to frame up your right leg. This is our Mula Bandha checkups. So this one, I will say that if you don't have much luck lifting from the floor, sometimes something to be up a little bit higher under your hands can be helpful, but we're gonna go how we go. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, fold over your right. Inhale, press down, lift whatever lifts. Maybe the hips, maybe the feet. Hold for 2. If you're up quick, you can catch a little 8 angle. Last breath, stay with it, and exhale, set it down. Good. Second side, and if you're like, what just happened? That's very normal. It takes a little bit. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, fold over the left. Inhale, press down, lift, whatever lifts. Hold for 3. Maybe you catch 8 angle this side. 2 and 1. Exhale, set it down. Very nice. We'll come back up to the wide-legged forward fold. So if you have a fancy press, you can do that. Otherwise, bring the feet in. Stand on back up. Feet out wide. Inhale, press, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, stand up. And exhale, Samasthiti. Good. One more standing posture. Take your hands back behind your back. Opposite elbows or reverse namaste. Once again, Parshvottanasana. Inhale, step your right foot back. Look down, see if you're heel to heel alignment. And we're gonna turn pivot on our heels. Face the back of your mat. Exhale, fold over the right leg. So dropping your head down in the direction of the right leg, one day touching. For most of us, we can think about the subtle driving of the right hip back in line with the left. Stay for 2. And 1, inhale, stand up. Let's see if we can do it. 1, exhale, turn, pivot on the feet and fold over the left leg. Professional, good. So it's a little fancy footwork. Hold for another 2. Again, play with the sensation of the hips. They don't have to be cranked around perfect, but yeah, you notice the intensity changes a little bit. Last breath. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, step to the top of your mat, Samasthiti. We'll take it down to the floor, so salute the sun, celebrate it, arms up, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, step or float. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. From downward facing dog now, hop forward to the top of your mat into a little low crouch for asana. So we're gonna go here we'll go towards the right side first. So bringing yourself over towards the right side of your mat. And you'll see you can take hands to heart center and give a little bit of a push, a twist, and a rotation. If you like the classic where you go for a bind, you can start to work on loading. Yeah, weight back. This one's a little bit challenging. If the heels are somewhat lifted. You okay there? Mm-hmm. Okay. You can relax the heels down if they start to come. Yeah, there you go. Nice. One more breath. Now exhale, release the bind if you had it. Take your hands outside of this right leg. So I'm going to demo in the opposite direction so we just get a little bit more clarity. But we're starting to bring both elbows here. This side crow. And so if both elbows down is somewhat easy, you can leave the back elbow floating, and that way you can maybe spin, turn, drop down onto the forearm, play a little bit more with your side crow. But whichever one you're at, think about splitting the legs now, so like a split style. Excellent. Super challenging. Last moment, try to bring both legs forward towards me, top of the mat. Good. And exhale, return feet to the mat. Inhale up through center. Reset if you need to, a little recenter. And then exhale towards the left side. Same deal. Stay with the prayer twist, if that's what's comfortable. If you want to go for the bind, reaching back behind you. Loading a little bit of weight. Let's try to drop the heels here again. Yeah. Last breath. Good. Exhale, release the bind if you had it. Hands to the mat, side crow. So again, both elbows connected or the back one floating. Once you catch this and you're tight like a little ball, so you can think about firing up core compression, think about splitting the legs potentially. So we're going to start to reach that top leg back. Yes. Good. Now both feet forward towards the top of your mat. Yeah, and return back through center. Hands to the mat here. So there's a little option for a press We sometimes like to take it all the way up, kind of like a little tuck press style. So you're just leaning, and if you don't have a little support, sometimes this one's hard to come all the way up, but you just do your best to push like you're going to, and then you're gonna go back through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Nice work. Now we're doing Kronchasana. So come through to a seat. So you can hop through or sit down and slide the feet out in front of you and then sit inside of the right knee. So this is going to look like you're kind of folding in. Remove the calf muscle a little bit. Be super sensitive and nice to the right knee. If you want to keep it open 90-90, you can stay. Option to fold forward for the left foot or to potentially pick the left foot up. You can add in bind, of course, behind your hand if you want to, and then start to draw yourself in a little bit closer. Stay for 2. And 1. Good. Now as you inhale, release your foot, hands up. So you're reaching, stay there. 2. And 1. Exhale, take your left foot to the mat. The sole of the foot is going to come to the mat. Hands to the mat as well. Pop yourself up so you're in almost like a little runner's crouch. Ekapada Bakasana. This is a super challenge transition. We're working to stack the left knee on the back of the left arm. Good. Maybe there's a moment of lift. Chaturanga on the way out. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Good. From downward facing dog, we'll come through to the second side. So inhale, step or float yourself on through. Sit inside of the left knee. Reach forward and stay folded or lift. Think about drawing yourself in. Hold for 2. And for 1. Inhale now. Lengthen yourself, arms up. Reach the foot, super solid. Exhale, take your right foot to the mat. So sole of the right foot to the mat. So you're gonna bend it up, hands down, Ekapada Bakasana, second side. And this is a super humbling transition. So there's this moment of, where it feels like gravity won't quite let you do it. Go ahead, step on back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Downward facing dog. This next one is interesting. This is a bit of a challenge. There's 2 ways to get into it. So we'll try the entry through handstand. If you're like, no way, not working on handstands yet, don't worry, but I'm going to show it first. So as you hop forward, eventually you'll catch a little bit of hang time and we'll come through Ashta Vakrasana, sneak the bottom foot around and catch. So if that's not quite there, just hop forward now, sit on down. And then you're gonna work to pull the left knee in as close as you can and start by lifting this left foot with the right arm. Go to sneak the left hand underneath, and you can think almost like a compass. So if compass is somewhat accessible, good. Take the hands to the mat, stack the right foot on top of the left, start to lean forward. As you lean, straighten your legs, look forward. There we go. Hold for 2. And 1. As we get out of this, come on back up. If you need to sit down, you can. Otherwise, send the right leg through. Think Ekapada Kundinyasana. My mic is in the way, but here we go. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Hold. Whew, that's a lot. So round 2. Here we go. Come on back through. Either find it through handstand or sit down. Take your opposite leg that you did in, so whichever one you didn't do yet. Wrap it on. Start to stack now. And as you lean forward, there's many actions. There's a straightening of the legs and a bending of your elbows. Last 2. And 1. As you come on back up, release. Try to slide the bottom left leg through there. Ekapada or straight on back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Here we go, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, lower down all the way onto your belly. And release your toes. Take your hands along your sides. Palms will be facing up there as she has them, and then inhale, lift both ends of your body. Good. Stay for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Reach forward Superman style, so towards me. And see about lifting the front end of the body a little bit more, back end of the body a little bit more. You've got this. Hold for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Last bit. Take your hands behind your back, interlace up your fingers, pull, lift. Hold here for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Good. Release your hands down. Take them underneath your shoulders. On the exhale, bump yourself up just to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale now. Step or float forward, come onto your shins. We're gonna sit down in between our heels if that is comfortable. So you may find that that is a no-go for the knees, in which case stay up on the heels. Otherwise, you can start to recline back. So super tuck all the way down onto the forearms, maybe all the way back if it's comfortable. And once you're here, there's a moment of ease. So not fighting. And if you're sitting on your heels, you can just take a few tucks or almost like a cat-cow movement through your spine as an alternative. Few more rounds of breath. With your next inhale, start to arch your way on back up if you recline back. So it's like a super arch. Now either a child's pose or a tripod headstand. So whichever one of those two you want, you can come into it. We're just dipping ourselves forward. And if you come up into the tripod headstand, you're just here for a breath or so, really, and then think Bakasana on the way out. So you're gonna bend, bend, bend through your arms, see about a little bit of a hook, a little bit of leverage, and then chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, exhale, downward facing. We've got one more lane back bend here, so as you inhale, roll forward again, high plank. Exhale, lower all the way on down. So belly drops. Reach back and see about bending your knees, catching onto your feet or your ankles. Dhanurasana, inhale, lift up. So kicking into your feet. And there's this sort of rocking action that naturally happens. Is that okay on you? Yeah. So staying open through the chest, hold for 2. And for 1, now do your best to roll onto the right side. So she's gonna roll all the way over onto the right shoulder here. And keep the space between your feet and your hips. This one's an awkward posture, kind of fish out of water. One more breath. Inhale, come on back up through center. Exhale, straight away over onto the left side. Good, little kick, keeping that space. Nice, dropping the knee down as much as you can. Inhale, back up through center. Last bit, lift. Now release your hands, but keep the knees bent and keep the feet as they are, almost like you're skydiving, so reaching back behind you still. So you're reaching here. Hold for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Now you've got it right. Take the hands down. Keep your hips down. Do your best to push yourself up and back, taking your head in the direction of your feet. This is a real intense one. Last breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Take your time. Nice work. Next inhale, hop forward onto your shins again. Ustrasana, or camel pose. So come up to stand on your knees. Take your hands behind your hips to start. And this is a great place to stay and think about lifting and just pushing hips forward if your low back is super sensitive. Otherwise, you might reach back, catch onto the heels, spinning the grip so that you've got your fingers going towards the toes in a way, kind of like catching like a knob. So yeah, as you got them there, and pull a little bit as you come forward. Nice. Stay for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, sit your hips down onto your heels. Take a few cat-cow movements or a child's pose, depending on which one feels better for the counter. So there's a little bit of reset and the final push of our back bends here. Come back now through neutral spine. Come and let's revisit the first posture, hands at the hips. And so you're welcome to stay right here. You can find your Ustrasana again, or Laghu Vadrasana. You might start to dip yourself back. Take your hands now, let them slide on in there. And eventually this sliding comes all the way into the knee grip, or to behind the knees as you rock and dip yourself down. Give a little support here. Yeah, nice. Come on back up. So you can do this several times or however much the intensity allows. And again, once you're done with that, take a seat, hips to heels, neutralize the spine. Some of you might even like to go through the full vinyasa here. We don't often include it, but it's there for you. A little bit of neutralization. And then we'll find our final round. So this may be a 3rd repetition of the Ustrasana or all the way back into Kapotasana. And it's just up to you how far you want to go today. So I'll let you be the judge of that. If you're not quite sure about Kapotasana at home, it's probably one that's best skipped for today. Working. How are you doing? Good. Okay. Nice. Hold for another breath. Exhale, sit your hips back down. Find your way through vinyasa. And exhale, downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, we're going to take it down onto our backs now. So hop or step your way on through. Send your legs out long in front of you. Super pelvic tuck your way. Roll all the way down. Awesome. From here, drag your feet up closer to your hips, soles of the feet down. And we'll start with Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. So inhale now, lift your hips, interlace up your fingers, rock up, and maybe walk up onto the shoulders nice and high. This is super solid. And as we move through the last few back bends, if you've had quite enough of the back bending, this is a good one to stick with. Stay here for 3. For 2, and 1. Exhale, release your hands, take your hips down, and we'll pause here. Sometimes I like to throw in a little happy baby as a counter to just sort of roll your hips down into the mat. Feels nice, or a little half straddle or full straddle. And then take your feet back to the mat. And we'll set up for Urdhva Dhanurasana, or you can find again your full wheel, or you can find again your bridge. Inhale, go ahead and lift on up. We'll do 3 sets. So inhale, you're going to stay for 5. Nice strong legs for 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're in wheel, drop your head to the mat, walk your hands in a little bit closer. Inhale, pick it on back up. Hold for 5. For 4. Good, push against me, strong legs. For 3. Should I do a handstand? 2. And 1. Last time, drop the head, walk your hands maybe a little bit closer or just stay where they're at. Inhale, pick it on back up. Final round, awesome job. Stay for 5. For 4. For 3. 2, and 1. Exhale, release. Take yourself down to the mat. Again here, we can give a little rock and roll of the knees into the chest, or if you like Chakrasana, make like a wheel, roll backwards. Good, forward or back, vinyasa your way out. Inhale, upward facing, exhale, downward facing. From downward facing dog, walk your hands back to your toes. Now walk your feet off the end of the mat. Now take your hands to the side of the mat, pick up your mat, take it around to the wall. We'll do a little bit of handstand work. So you may not need the wall for handstands here, but just for fun, if you have the space, we'll do it. This is going to be our last little free moment. I like to do 1 minute of inversion. If you don't want to get upside down, you don't want to do more handstands, you're welcome to come back to the dolphin pose shape and work on strength building. Otherwise, I'm going to recommend, if you've never done a handstand before, take a downward dog in front of the wall, step a foot up and step the other up and try that. If you're feeling pretty solid, turn around, kick on up against the wall. Good. And so you can stay 1 foot on, both feet on, or play with that little bit of balance. But let's work here for a nice long hold. Good. So in our handstands, our fingers are like our brakes. You may have heard it, but I'm just going to explain it to you here as you're practicing. And as Natasha's doing her nice long handstand hold for the day. But it's kind of like if you were to stand up, right? As you tilt your weight forward, your toes can hold you. There you have some control. You may still fall, but if you try to put the weight back into the heels or the heel of your hand, there's nothing there. So even when you're working with the wall, making sure there's nice finger tension here, so really push, yeah, there you go. Fire up. The index finger is a big driver, actually, of our balance. Whenever you're ready, come on down, Natasha. Nice work. So you can leave your mat where it's at, or you can slide it back. We'll slide it back here. Yeah, come on back in. Take it down a notch from here. So starting with pigeons, you can come back to your mat and slide the right knee forward. So you're going to take the right knee forward, and if this is not comfortable, recline figure 4 on your back is a great place to be. But from here, we'll take the first few moments passive, so letting yourself melt and walk forward. And if you're assisting this one, it's nice. You can sometimes kind of roll them over to the side, clear out a little bit, external rotation, sink a little deeper. And either stay passive just like this, or you can take your hands in closer to your body, come up and work into the king pigeon variation of things. You're bending up your back leg, reaching it back, maybe catch it in your elbow crease, or you can do full extension up over back, but this is a great place to be. Hold for a few rounds. Release now your hand bind if you took it. Shift your weight onto this right side, just swing the left leg forward and around. Look to stack the knees. The knees don't stack completely, that's all right. Stay wherever they are. Reach your right arm up. Take your left arm out behind you. See about maybe catching onto the fingertips here and giving a little bit of a pull. So this is a nice place to kind of enjoy the full capacity of your lungs. So letting the belly expand. We spend a lot of time during the practice kind of drawing the navel in and clenching, so breathe with your belly here, breathe in. An option to drop your forehead towards your knee. If you want to sort of melt forward, if the hand bind becomes too much, release it out. Inhale, back up to a seat now. Exhale, release your bind if you had it with the hands. So there's 2 ways we can go here. We can either do the twisty route where we spin around, or for extra fun, you might take your hands forward, lean yourself, take a tripod headstand, so you're popping up, and you're gonna switch out the legs upside down, come on back down, second side. So either way you go, that's just extra, just for fun if you want to. The left leg is under, right leg is up, or whichever side you haven't done yet. Lift the left arm up, right arm out, reach around back behind you, see about clasping the fingers. And then breathe deeply, full lungs. Option to melt and fold forward, forehead towards your knee. Inhale yourself back up. Exhale, now release the right leg around back behind you. Pigeon pose, left side. Settle in nice and deep. First moment is passive. As you walk forward, releasing down. Option to add that last moment for a little bit of back bending action by walking hands in towards your body. You can bend up your back right leg, reach back, catch for your foot. And coming into your variation, maybe a king pigeon, or all the way up over the top if you want. Breathing here. Good. Go ahead and release. Take your hands to the mat. Chaturanga, vinyasa it out, final vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing, or close to the final. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale now, step or float your way on back through top of the mat. Take a cross-legged position. So you can stack one foot, you could stack both feet. I'm just gonna turn towards you because why not? And then we'll set up for our closing ritual, yoga mudra. Reach behind your back, catch for opposite elbows. If you've lotused both the feet, you can catch onto the toes. And then close down your eyes here. Let's take a moment to set our breath. So wherever you're at in your breath cycle, go ahead and exhale out all of your air. Inhale, breath in. Exhale, breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Next, inhale, turn your face upwards, open your neck. Exhale, fold forwards, dropping your head down in the direction of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back to a seat. Exhale, elegantly unwind your arms. Thumb and index finger come to touch, Padmasana. Inhale, straighten out your shoulders and arms, roll the shoulders down, and exhale, settle in. You can close down your eyes here if they aren't already closed. Padmasana. So in these final moments, we'll think about a little bit of strength from the inside in our bandhas. So lifting first through Mula Bandha, pelvic floor. And bringing in the chin lock, so slight tucking of the chin, Jalandhara Bandha. And then Uddiyana Bandha, draw your navel in along your spine again. So now the breath is pushed back up into the ribs. You can feel the rib cage moving as you breathe. Let's take our final rounds of Ujjayi breath here. Finishing out practice with this focus. Strong breath, strong body. We'll have a moment here for an option for a little bit of rapid breaths. You can relax your hands just however they fall on your knees, and we'll add on a breath hold here. So if it becomes too much, you can just release and breathe naturally. But let's start by taking a few full breaths. So exhale out all of your air. Inhale, breath in. Exhale, breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Final round, nice deep breath in. Pause, hold at the top. Think about the bandhas. Lock that air in like it's in a tube, and then you'll hold your breath here. So hold your breath until you feel the sense of air hunger, and like it's time to let your breath go. And on your own time, at your own pace, and you feel that you're ready to release your breath, you can lie down into Shavasana and let the exhale carry you into stillness. So take a moment here in your Shavasana and see if you can take up a little bit more space as you arrive. Roll your shoulders underneath you and commit to a few minutes of stillness, allowing yourself to soak in the benefits of your practice, a bit of gratitude for the heat generated today in your physical body, perhaps a sense of coolness in your head. And begin to just settle in. Nothing has to happen, just allowing yourself this gift of stillness. I'm going to leave you here resting in Shavasana. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. And we have a tradition in Rocket of saying Jai, which means victory. So Jai, if you want to say it with me or even in your mind, victory to each and every one of you. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you.